the brakes, put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, bung-eyed uppers, right and left wing wackos, woodchucks and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom. Oh, wait, and little dogs too. To another version of It's News to Us. No, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on, get out of there. You got your own camera. Get out of there. Don't hide for the whole show. There you go. And do something stupid. Sit. Stay. Thank you. He's in one of his moods. Anyways. Okay. You're watching It's News to Us. That's right. In the booth, we've got the boss today, Todster. You're watching It's News to Us. We're Newport's oldest TV news. What just new? New, brown cow, as the locals say. We got adult themes and adult language, so you're advised. It's mostly G-rated, though. You know, come on. We don't even cuss hardly. Beware the Bronze Age invisible sky god's going to beat you and forgive you and beat you and forgive you. And we're all inclusive here. We cater to men, women, everybody. All 57 genders or whatever. And Iver Johnson revolvers, that's right. I think they went out of business after the cheap gun law that they passed in Arms Control Act in 1968. That's right, they made the gun that shot Bobby Kennedy, supposedly.
It says accidental discharge impossible.
Yeah, right. They did have the hammer blocker. But it was one of the guns that killed Bobby Kennedy, because somehow, as I recall, the Iver Johnson was only like an 8-shot 22 that Sirhan used, yet somehow he managed to get off 11 shots in the kitchen of the Ambassador Hotel. Anyways, and we're also brought to you by the Vermont League of Cronies and Tyrants. That's right, we've been protecting local criminals. And here's an old one. This was from a parade. Where they had a cutout of Pete the Moose. And it says, "Thank my lucky star for Senator Booby Starr saving Pete the Moose." Yeah, he saved him all right. And then next thing you know, they sent somebody down to Smug Smelson's half-ass ranch there, or whatever it was, the captive hunting facility. And where's Pete? I don't know. Is that Pete? I don't know. Well, we got one dead moose, but he died and we buried him. Of course, it had nothing to do with the candy bars and the beer that the guy was feeding him. That was a whole. He had his own Facebook page, too, the Pete the Moose Facebook page. Unbelievable. Okay, here we are. Oh, man, back to the virus news. Oh, he's hiding again. You in one of your moods? I guess so. I got to get him another dog, man. Anybody out there got a Jack Russell female that ain't fixed? He needs a girlfriend. Here we are. According to the president of Tanzania, the body of Christ will kill the virus. And it's on the bottom under the fold here. WHO warns virus may be here to stay. Yeah, well, and then they came out yesterday with this woman, and she says, well, there's hardly any, contact with people and that are asymptomatic versus non-symptomatic, and, it's no big deal. And then by the end of the day, everybody, all the shutdown people are all freaking out. And by the end of the day, it's all like, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, and on the green screen, you're watching Afghanistan, where we've our soldiers were patrolling the poppy and weed fields. And look at the size of that weed field, man. You could land a 747 in that field of weed. And our soldiers are all like, oh, Lordy, ain't it great? We get to shoot people, blow stuff up, and get to smoke some of the best weed on the planet, just like Vietnam. But anyways, this is my favorite right here. And this is from Thursday's paper, May 14th. They worry about Tanzania, whose president has questioned his own government's virus testing, questioned the testing, and refused to close churches in the belief that the virus can't survive in the body of Christ. Oh, yeah. A new U.S. Embassy statement warned that the risk of being infected in Tanzania's commercial hub, Dar es Salaam, is extremely high, and says many hospitals in the city have been overwhelmed. Yeah, I can't understand why. It's, don't worry, as long as it's the body of Christ! What was here? Seafood and fish killed. We've got another guy who died young. Yeah, what the heck was this guy? Brain cancer. He instilled in his family a love of fishing, boating, and mountain biking. And fishing. Yeah. Died at 39 years old. I'm telling you, you eat the fish, it's not good, man. The fish are poison. I was telling Too Tall about that the other day. About the tumor fish they were pulling out of Lake Memphremycock here, right? And he didn't believe me. So I said, ask Todd. I said, Todd's seen the articles in the paper and stuff, right? It's not just me. It's happened. Oh, here we are, Dear Abby. Don't you love Dear Abby? Mr. Burpee, a turnoff. Huh. I love you, honey. Speaking of Too Tall, man, that guy sounds like he's gonna die after he eats something. Dear Annie, I started seeing someone recently. Matthew is a perfect gentleman in many respects. He has one habit I find rude and jarring. He burps frequently and sometimes without even covering his mouth. We sit down to watch a movie after dinner, and all I can focus on is his constant gurgles next to me on the couch. The relationship is still relatively new, and I don't want to hurt his feelings, but this is a serious turnoff. What should I tell him? It may not be, to dear excuse you, it may not be his fault. Freaking belching can be a sign of acid reflux, may seem like a minor condition, however, in the long term can cause serious damage. Well, if he's got acid reflux while he's sitting up, I think it might be more than acid reflux. This guy ought to he needs, oh, look at that purple couche. Oh my God, isn't that lovely? That's what we usually get after a mild frost here in Vermont. There are a lot of plants. I've got a couple strains that they get a tinge of frost and they get that lovely purple color. Some do it naturally. Next time he's having one of these attacks, suggest he talk to his doctor. It shows that you care. Yeah. Could you imagine that? Trying to get romantic and someone burping and puking? Sure. Oh, Dr. Fauci's at it again. Mask could help avert a second wave, says Dr. Fauci. Look for grocery prices to rise. Look for the price of everything to rise because you know, that's inflation. They start printing money. Speaking of which, I won't mention any names, but I know someone in the village who got their $1,200 stimulus check, Toddster. Yeah. Spent it all on crack. Yeah, went on a crack bender for like 3 days. And here we are. You're going to love this. Thursday, May 28th. U.S. marks a grim milestone. 100,000 deaths. Well, you know, geez Louise. It's mostly old people. It's mostly in the 70 to 80, the 80 to 90 range. But, you know, it's a grim milestone. And what happened when we had 1,000 deaths from AIDS? It barely made page 18 of the New York Times in like 1991. Here we are. In this together, coronavirus can't break their training bond. And it shows this like Sped or somebody doing a squat with his so-called trainer behind him. And it's weird. And you know how he got that way? He's all messed up, man. Let's see. Personal trainer in Glendale, Wisconsin. Led him to one really special guy. Justin Greenwald suffered a TBI playing college football nearly 20 years ago. His field of vision has shrunk to the size of a pinhole. He has problems with his legs, and balance can be a challenge. He's smart and funny, but a new challenge has made talking difficult. Yeah, encourage your kids to play sports, especially full contact sports like football and hockey. Oh, it's great. It's the American pastime, bashing each other's heads in. Unbelievable. Yeah, all for a game. Yeah, sure. He told he might have to go to a nursing home. Oh, sure. He might be in Mobile, living in a nursing home, if he survived at all. Yeah, okay. He works, let's see. Get this. Now Stengel has Greenwood doing box jumps, gym sprints, and boxing at his gym. Boxing. The guy already has a head injury, and he's giving him boxing lessons so he can get whacked in the head some more. Am I the only one that sees something weird here? Is it just me? Oh, man. Oh, yeah, and the governor today. Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, I got to put on the right hat, I guess. I call him Governor Pickle Nose or Injun Phil. Somebody said, why do you call him Injun Phil? I said, I don't know. Look at him. I mean, come on, man. The guy looks like the guy in the back of the nickel. My Uncle Hal was like that. You know, you got a lot of people up here who have a lot of Abenaki blood back there. You know, there was some kind of Abenaki in the woodpile, if you know what I mean. And every now and then, every couple generations, man, some mommy will spit one out, and they look damn near like an Abenaki. And I don't know about the pickle nose stuff. Maybe it's hereditary. Maybe it's rosacea. Maybe it's Scotch whiskey. I don't know. But that honker's getting bigger and purpler by the day. Yeah, here we are. Larry Kramer, the AIDS activist and playwright. He was 84 years old. I mentioned this on the show before. He lost a giant of a man who stood up for gay rights like a warrior. He found it ACT UP and stuff. His anger was needed at a time when gay men's deaths to AIDS were being ignored by the American government. Yeah. They didn't care. They didn't care because the only people dying were queers and junkies, man. Nobody cared about them, you know. But we lose 100,000 old people. We lose 60,000 to the flu. We lose 70 to 100,000 to alcohol, liver disease. We lose 70,000 a year to opiate overdoses. Young people in the prime. No, that's okay. But this coronavirus, we gotta lock everybody down, mister. Don't you know? Anyways, yeah, the grim milestone. Oh, and get this, Toddster. You know what this guy's real name is and where he lives? Thanks.
The guy that does those Limu Emu commercials?
Yeah.
No.
His name is Dave Hoffman, and he lives in Stowe.
Really?
Yeah. He's, him and his old lady have been sitting out the virus here. And, where the hell is it? Hoffman. And he has a web series called George Washington is Here to Help. I don't know where the hell it is, where you find it on the web. I guess you got to look it up. I've been really, really creatively engaged. Who's living off the residual payments from Liberty Mutual. The oddball ads with a flightless bird match his creative sensibilities. Hoffman, 43, said the hardest part of the shutdown is they can't eat at restaurants they fell in love with after moving to Vermont last September. Still, it's better than LA, pandemic or no. The first thing is the clean air, he said. It's such a game changer, and the quiet, the green. It's called the Green Mountain State. The green is so breathtaking. To be in it every day is just amazing. Well, it's green in California, too, after the rainy season. But then, like a month after the rainy season, it turns into waves of brown. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, there is nothing. If you ever get a chance to go out to California, go to the desert in like April or yeah, it'd be March or April, when the desert's in blooming. It is spectacular, man. Oh, and here we are. Looting colored bodies, man. Curfew's powerful but often flouted. Well, you know, we've been watching the riots for, well, they've turned back into demonstrations. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff all over the web about people being assaulted, beaten, killed. And the press hasn't, you know, even Fox barely shows hardly any of it. Thanks, Toddster. And, but you can see it all over the interweb, man. And they just had the funeral for that 73-year-old retired cop who was guarding his friend's pawn shop. He got shot to death, and they arrested the punk. Implementing a curfew and increasing the number of cops is a tactic to effectively silence the voices raised in protest against the abuse of power and looting of black and colored bodies by members of the police. Looting our black bodies. It's like, that stuff started with this so-called author who flunked like 10th grade English, and now he's regaled as this great author. His juvenile musings are apparent. It's just sad crap. But his name is Ta-Nehisi Coates, and it's horrible. The looting of black and brown bodies. It's like, what? Really? Oh, yeah. New York City put in place a large-scale curfew, the first time in 80 years, as groups vandalized buildings and stole from stores. It wasn't looting. They were just stealing from the stores. You know, everybody does it, right? Even Macy's, man. So let's see. Curfews aren't unusual in the U.S. Typically, natural disasters, hurricanes, flood, tornadoes, stop anyone and prevent stealing when many homes are empty or damaged. Man. It's like orders came down from on high. They were looting for like 4 or 5 days, man, and it got serious. And then Trumpster said, "That's it. We're going to bring in the National Guard. We're going to send troops in, man." And suddenly it just stopped. Bang! It stopped. Almost like it was planned. Just weird, man. Well, it's a bad time to be a lab rat too. Monkeys, ferrets offer needed clues in COVID vaccine race. Oh yeah, anyways, back to the governor. I asked him about that. They had a rally on the State House over the weekend. Maybe it was Friday night afternoon. I don't know. It was daytime, as I recall, and they didn't allow any white people to speak. Man, they said that's it. Negroes only. You got to be a Negro to speak. It's like, what? What? So anyways, I asked the governor about that. Oh, and they were letting everybody go on, and this kills me. They were letting everybody have at least like 2 questions, and Mike Smith, my God, that guy, he's Secretary of Governmental Horticulture or whatever the hell. Mike Smith, I swear he gets paid by the word. This long-winded SOB gets up there and just, "Oh, I'm glad you asked me that question, and, you know, many people are just on and on and on." And then some news outlets, WCAX gets 3 people from their station. They get to ask questions, and they don't mix it up or rotate the thing, because yours truly is always last. I'm happy to be there. I don't mind. I'm just happy to be slap happy, like a Tyrolean slap dancer. But CAX gets 3 people to ask questions. VT Digger gets 3 people to ask questions. Even though their website now, I don't know what's up with that, it goes dark when you try and access it without cookies. It's like, hey, you know what? Screw it, Digger. I stopped going to VT Digger when they took down comments, man. First they had a comment section, and then if you said anything remotely controversial, they would shut you down and you wouldn't be able to comment. Then they went to a third-party comment section like Disquis or something, Todd, right? And
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they have a couple different outfits that monitor and do it for you, you know? And Yeah, Breitbart did the same thing. Breitbart eliminated its comments. I don't know why. Or you can comment on their Facebook page. Well, screw you. I'm not going on Facebook for anybody. I'm not going to. No, Mark Zuckerberg is not getting any information from yours truly. I'm sorry. No, no Facebook, no Google, no. If I want to search something, I go to DuckDuckGo or Start Page. You know, the Start Page is the old, it's Ixquix. What's the ones the librarians use because they dump their data nightly. They don't keep track of you. They don't sell mailing lists.
What good are they then?
Yeah, really. Like Toddster was saying, he looked up something one day, and next thing you know, I don't know, coffee or some damn
Yeah,
thing.
it was coffee.
Next thing you know, yeah, you're getting ads from the company, and
I wasn't even looking it up. I was just talking about it with my girlfriend.
he just mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was a specific kind of coffee called Bones Coffee out of Nevada or something, which it's really, really good coffee. So that's why we were talking about it. I'd gotten some for Christmas, and we were telling my father about it. And then that night, every time I went on the internet, any ad that popped up was for that friggin' coffee.
Now, were you using Gmail or Facebook?
No, it was Facebook, Instagram, which is owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was on my phone, so no, there was no Google, but I'm an Apple guy.
Yeah. How creepy is that, dude?
Yeah.
How creepy is that? You know what you should do, Todd, just for kicks and grins, right? You should go on Facebook and access like the hemorrhoid sufferers page. And put in like, you know, preparation to H2O or whatever, you know. And then see what
Just
kind
to
of
see
ads.
if I can start getting some ads.
Yeah, you'll be getting ads for the big donut pillows. And it's like, what the hell?
Well, I have my phone right next to me, so maybe I'll get these ads anyway.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about it right now.
Oh, they do it from voice, you think?
I think so.
Oh, dude, is that creepy?
Yeah, because I wasn't online. We were just I had my phone with me, but we were just telling my father about the coffee.
Oh, I thought you typed it in in a Facebook post. Oh, wow.
No, we were just talking about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 10 times creepier.
Yeah. It's good news for advertisers, though.
Oh, lovely. Marvelous. Here we are. Senate hearing draws first concession. I'm surprised this even made the papers. It's about the coup d'etat where they tried to take down Trump, the deep state. And don't tell me they're not real. They were called the submerged state, the government within a government. Obama used to even call it the blob. But anyways, they tried to take out Trump. So they've been having hearings, and they're gonna somebody's gonna get indicted, man. They lied to get FISA warrants. They tried to set up Carter Page. They tried to set up the other guy there, the Greek guy, Papadopoulos, and so they're gonna get Rosenstein, Wiseman, Comey, Strzok, Page, Obama, and Biden. They're exempt. You will never see any prior president be indicted or questioned or anything. It's not going to happen. But they're going to get Halper, that other pickle nose. He was an FBI informant. He tried to set up Papadopoulos and Page in England. And then this other mysterious guy named Joseph Mifsud, who handed Papadopoulos $10,000 in cash, Todd, right? And he's all like, here, just take it. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. So Papadopoulos, he smelled a rat. So what he did was he gave the money to his attorney in Athens, Greece, right? I guess he's an American citizen. He grew up here, but like a lot of second-generation people, he speaks Greek, I guess, right? So he gave and has relatives in the old country who doesn't, right? So he gave the money to his attorney, and sure enough, man, as soon as he landed in the U.S., the FBI agents and stuff, they swarmed him, all looking for the 10 grand, like, aha, where is it? Where is it? And he's all like, what are you talking about? And they're all like, where is it? You know where it is. And So anyways, this Mifsud guy that gave him the cash and a cast of thousands of dirty cops. You think that the only dirty cops are the ones that, beat and black people and other people? I was going to mention that too with these black flies splatter. I mentioned all the people that got killed in Vermont. It's been over like 40 people in the past 40 years, Todd, that have been shot by the cops here in Vermont, right? And what do they all have in common? Being a white state and all. They're all Caucasian. So it's like, what the hell? But, we're supposed to believe only Black Lives Matter when it comes to police shootings. Anyways, never be ashamed of who you are or what you are. I mean, you can always change what you are. You could always change who you are. We could all be better people. But now they're trying to say that racism is inherent, that it's inherent. Oh, there's the Taliban right there. They're whacking the poppy crops. This was very early in the war. And it angered the locals so bad that they stopped whacking the poppy crops and said, you can grow opium, it's no problem. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes money. And you can do that right here in the United States, You can grow all the poppies you want, but once you start milking them like that thing where the latex comes out, ooh, then you're in trouble, mister, because if there's one thing they don't want you doing is growing your own medicine. They finally got rid of that with weed. I doubt opium would be next, but hey, stranger things have happened. I asked the black lady about that and went to the press conference with Scott. Today I asked him about that, and I said, Governor, here's a shoe on the other foot question. I said, what would you say if someone held a rally in front of the State House and said only white people can talk? And he's all like, what? He played complete ignorance. And luckily afterwards, Guy Page got up and said, no, he's talking about the Black Lives Matter protest. Suddenly the protests are okay. We got to stay locked in your house. You can't have graduations. You can't have funerals. You can't have this. You can't have that. I asked him that last week. I said, God, I think it was Friday. I said, Governor, now that the cat's out of the damn bag, I said, what's to stop somebody from having, say, I don't know, a 200 or 300 person protest with an open bar or something and have a wedding in the middle of the protest? Well, he says it's mostly voluntary and, sure, right. All of this is getting thrown out the window, and it looks like this moron is going to extend his state of emergency on the 15th, which should be, I don't know, next Monday or something?
The 15th is on a Monday, I think.
Yeah.
So it's Monday.
Of course.
So you're taping this on the 10th, so yeah, it's Monday. So
yeah, it'll get
he's
extended.
Going to extend it?
He's power drunk, man. He is drunk with power. And anyway, back to the coup d'etat in Washington. Former Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein told lawmakers that he would not have approved his application for a former Trump campaign aide during the Russia investigation had he known at the time that the problems that have since been revealed. Oh, I didn't know nothing about nothing. Not me. I was just Deputy Attorney General. His comments amounted to a striking concession that law enforcement officials made mistakes. Oh, they made mistakes were made. Oh, we love that old trope, Todd. Well, mistakes were made. It's pop. What are you gonna do? Come on, well, it was 4 years ago. We almost got the guy kicked out. We wasted the country's time for 3 years. We have Russians under every damn wood pile and hiding underneath cars, and Russians here and Russians there. And we even, when we tried to try those Russians, when they asked for a trial, when we didn't have any evidence, we had to drop charges against them. And now we're going to drop the charges against Flynn because we tried to set him up too. But, mistakes were made. That's the old government trope. Mistakes were made. Come on. Yeah, it happens all the time. as they scrutinize ties between Russia and Trump's campaign. But even as he acknowledged the legitimacy of anger from Trump and his allies, he defended his appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller to lead the probe. To lead the probe, and affirmed his support for the conclusion that Russia interfered but did not criminally conspire with associates of the Trump campaign. Yeah, they interfered. You know, they bought $5,000 worth of Facebook ads showing, you know, Hillary arm wrestling the devil and stuff like that. That swayed a lot of voters,
There we go.
Todd.
We're back on.
So we're back to the Russians again. See, I told you, the Russians are right here in the studio.
I don't say nothing.
Yeah, I'd see nothing. We know nothing. Yeah, and that Mueller, and he talks about the Mueller thing. Oh, yeah. He defended his appointment as special counsel Robert Mueller to lead the probe. Oh, sure. Yeah, $40 million. I don't know how many people were deposed, and every swinging Dick and Jane lawyer in Washington that had a Woody for the president was on his little, what do you call it? But that's okay, because, and then when they got Mueller in front of the cameras, everybody's all like, oh, he's an ex-Marine, and he's a former, never mind that he was head of the Boston office, when the FBI was working with Whitey Bulger, and they were whacking people and stuff like that. But, they get Mueller in front of the cameras, and he's all like, he pulls a Joe Biden, man. He's like mental floss. He was out in space. Earth the Mueller. Ask him questions. What? I don't know. Anyways, enough of that Washington, D.C. crap. Hey, you want to hear a good one? Somebody got killed with a BB gun in Jersey, dude. The fatal shooting, this is from Thursday, June 4th, the fatal shooting of a PA woman inside her boyfriend's Jersey home has been ruled a homicide. Ashley Davis, 32 of Levittown, had visible wounds on her body when she was found at 6:30 p.m. in the basement, according to Mercer County. Police found drugs at the scene, along with 2 long BB guns and a short BB gun. An autopsy determined Davis was killed by a metal air gun pellet that struck internal organs and caused massive internal bleeding. No other injuries reported. The shooting. Further details haven't been disclosed. Her boyfriend, Aaron Adams, 38, was charged with a felony in possession of a weapon. A BB gun? Really? And they say the investigation's ongoing and more charges could be filed. Unbelievable. Now, this is just a BB gun, but they do have air rifles. You can look them up on the interweb, boys and girls, and you can be a felon and buy one. And they shoot like 40, 50 caliber bullets, Todd. I think I sent you a link to them last year or something.
I don't remember, but...
Yeah, they have a compressor, right? And the compressor, I don't know if you can do it with a bicycle pump, but they have like a compressor with a friggin', air tank. And it's the air tank is about this big around, about this long. It's probably like this, size of half of this thing. And it goes onto the rifle, and it shoots a damn bullet, man, that can take out a deer. I ain't kidding you, Jack. Look it up. But this is the first time I ever heard of anyone being killed by a pellet gun. I mean, man, talk about thin-skinned, huh? Yes, woman, a human suppository and a brown noser. Okay. Dear Abby, enough of the co-workers. Oh, yeah. 4 people arrested in St. Johnsbury protest attended by hundreds. Oh, okay. Oh, and here's the autopsy for that guy that got killed. Now, I don't care what they find in your system. The cops shouldn't kill you for passing a $20 bill, counterfeit. I mean, come on. It shouldn't be killing anybody, I mean, that's up to the state to do. And they do it by lethal injection. But anyways, let's see. The report by the chief medical examiner spelled out clinical details including that Floyd had tested positive for the virus on April 3rd, but appeared asymptomatic. The report also noted Floyd's lungs appeared healthy. He had narrowing of the arteries in the heart. The county's earlier report listed fentanyl intoxication and recent meth use under other significant conditions, but not under cause of death. The footnotes noted signs of fentanyl toxicity can include severe respiratory depression and seizures. Okay, so the guy had the virus, and they found fentanyl intoxication and meth use. I mean, hell, you can't swing a cat in a room without hitting somebody who's on meth, right, Toddster? And fentanyl. Both of them combined. They're everywhere. Doesn't everybody do that these days? Isn't that what the kids are into? And here we are. Here's Obama, whatever. I mean, you know, the guy had 2 terms. What did he do for his brothers and sisters? He never went back to Chicago. I mean, what did they had something like 40 murders there over the weekend or something stupid. And now he's coming out and scolding people, you know, writing gibberish that really makes no sense at all. It's like, dude, you had your chance. Where were you, dude? Where were you? You know, and then you told Joe Biden, Joe, you don't have to do this. No, I want to run for president. No, Joe, you don't have to do this. No, I mean, really, I want to run for president. No, Joe, you don't have to do this. You should have tried harder, because now they're going to lose, because Biden's just out to lunch, man. He can't even string a sentence together. It's scary. Let's see. What did he have to say? He rejected a debate. He had said he'd come up with a little bit of chatter on the internet about voting versus protest, politics and participation versus civil disobedience and direct action. This is not an either or. This is a both to bring about real change. We both have to highlight a problem and make people in power uncomfortable. But we also have to translate that into practical solutions and laws that could be implemented and monitored and make sure we're following up on. Oh, we have to make people in power uncomfortable. Oh, like they did with Occupy Wall Street after you bailed out the banks and allowed the banks to screw everybody in poor communities with bad mortgages. And instead of bailing out the people with bad mortgages, you bailed out your banker buddies, which you're now getting paid for. You mean that kind of uncomfortable, Mr. President? Yeah, and I remember seeing them come down on the Occupy Wall Street people who were peacefully protesting in downtown New York City. You just threw in the tear gas, flash bangs, and rounded them up and scattered them to the 4 winds. Oh, but now he's going to come out and bitch. Now he'll come out and bitch. And here we are again. The whining never ends, my God. Military faces its demons on race. Wait a minute. Harry Truman was the guy that integrated the military so that, you know, colored people could have a chance. And you know, everybody, what? Demons on race? What is this, 1870? I mean, come on, people. Oh, and speaking of which, they defaced the monument to the Massachusetts 54th Infantry, right, Toddster? In Boston. You know who they were? Remember that movie Glory with Denzel Washington? Yeah, that was the Massachusetts 54th. It's right across from the State House. If you're ever in Boston, dude, right? You go to the State House, and it's right there on the Common. And there's this big thing, and it's a plaque, this giant bronze plaque. And it blew me away when I was a kid because, you know, I'd never seen, like, black soldiers, all black soldiers, you know what I mean? I've seen black and white soldiers together. I grew up near Fort Devens, right? But I'd never seen all blacks, and you can tell that they're black, and there's it's a 3D plaque, and it shows Robert Gould Shaw up on a horse, you know, commanding his regiment, and it shows all these black guys in Civil War uniforms. I mean, that was like one of the first colored regiments, black regiments that fought in the Civil War for their own freedom. And these bonehead protesters went and defaced it. They defaced every monument in Washington, D.C., the World War II monument, the Washington monument, and they were going after the damn Lincoln Memorial of all places when Trump finally brought in the National Guard. The Lincoln Memorial. I mean, what are you people, stupid? I know they don't teach history in school anymore, but cripeny. Oh, and here we are. The Palestinians got to get their 2 cents in. Well, because, you know, let's face it, they've been getting kicked around for a long time, shot, beaten, tear gassed, you name it, their land stolen, and now they got the Israeli Antiquities Authority digging under East Jerusalem and they got the whole place, it's unbelievable what they've been digging up underneath the city. They got the whole city resting up on like props and I-beams and stuff. It's insane, Todd. You should see it sometime. They showed it on the Discovery Channel or what's the other one? The Science Channel. It's just incredible the stuff they're finding there. Anyways, it seems like they blew away a 32-year-old kid with severe autism. And he ran and hid next to a dumpster after being mistaken for an attacker. And they kind of like martyred him, as they say. Yeah. They spotted a man carrying a suspicious object that looked like a pistol. When he failed to heed calls to stop, the cops opened fire and neutralized him after a chase. Okay. They fired 3 bullets at him. He fell to the ground, asked for help, ran for cover in a garbage bin, dumpster type of thing. They came after him and killed him. At least 5 bullet holes could be seen in the wall of the structure at the site. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. Well, for Palestinians in the occupied West Bank and contested East Jerusalem. Who wrote this article, Toddster?
I don't know.
It's some guy named Yosef Fiederman. Yeah. You got a Hebrew guy writing about the Palestinians, right? And he calls it contested East Jerusalem. No, it's not contested. It was set aside. It was partitioned for the Arabs. It's called Arab East Jerusalem. But now it's contested. Okay, then. Funny how what you can do with language, isn't it? Yeah, they should have had a Palestinian write the article. I'll bet you we wouldn't have called it contested East Jerusalem. Yada, yada, yada. If an Arab killed a Jew, what would have happened? They would demolish his home and arrest all his family. According to Israeli human rights group B'Tselem, there have been at least 11 cases in the past 2 years in which Palestinians who did not pose a threat were killed while fleeing Israeli security forces. That's, come on, you know. Oh, and Kanye West, did you hear about that one in Chicago, Toddster?
I didn't, but I always love a good Kanye West story.
Kanye West shows up at a protest. Here we are. Kanye West is joining public protests for George Floyd. The rapper appeared in Chicago Thursday night at a Justice for Floyd CPD out of CPS rally on the South Side. Organizers with Good Kids Mad City said West called him and said he wanted to join a protest. But the orderly rally devolved as soon as West got out of a black SUV wearing a face mask and a hoodie. The organizers became frustrated with the disorder. Taylori Norwood, 20, grabbed a megaphone and told the crowd that the Chicago March was a youth-led protest and she didn't want a celebrity hijacking it. After a short stay, West appeared to depart and protests continued their march. Go on. Now, get out of here, okay?
The last thing we wanted our protest is attention.
Yeah, really. I didn't think of that side of it.
Why would we want Kanye West? All he's gonna do is get people talking about us.
Oh man, this is our protest. Hop in your black armored SUV and get your ass out of here. Oh man, who's Jake Paul? You ever heard of him, Todd?
I've heard of the name. He's like a YouTube celebrity, I guess, but I don't. No wait.
Yeah,
I might be
yeah.
thinking of Logan Paul. I don't know.
No, it's Jake Paul, YouTube personality.
Okay, I've heard the name. I don't know what.
Known for his controversial videos. He's facing charges for his role in the looting of an Arizona mall in Scottsdale. He responded on Twitter saying, "Give me my charges and let's focus back on George Floyd and Black Lives Matter." Paul posted videos to Instagram saying he had been tear gassed by the police. Well, I don't know, call me crazy, but if you're looting a store or a shopping mall in Scottsdale, I kind of think that if they're outnumbered, they might be using tear gas. You idiot. Sure. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, and here we are. Bad white people. Very bad. Very bad. You're all racist. That's it. And it's inherited. I mean, geez, man. Even in the Old Testicle, God didn't put the sins of the parents on their children. It's like, this is getting out of hand. You know, I've had a smile for everybody I've met. I've worked with black people. I hung out with... I've been the only white face at a black party before. I told you about that. You know, I mean, come on. My favorite teacher at trade school was black. My boss after school was black. It's like, what the hell? And now we're telling you, yeah, I've been discriminated against. Once by Orientals in Chinatown in L.A., they refused to serve us because we were white. And twice by Indians one time at the edge of a reservation and another time at the reservation. I ever tell you about that, Todd?
No.
I drove out, they had a rental car special where it was unlimited mileage, right? So I said, that's it. I told the old lady, I said, I'm gonna drive out and see my buddy Rat out in Wyoming, right? His parents own the Bud Ranch. It's like 70,000 acres next to the Grand Teton Mountains, right? South of Yellowstone. Beautiful place, right? So I honk out there on the interstate, and then on the way back, I said, you know, I'm gonna take Route 2 back all the way along the Canadian border, right? So I'm coming back, and I pick up this kid hitchhiking, Indian, right? And we get to talking. And he's a member of, he was living with his girlfriend. She threw him out. He had everything he owned in a garbage bag. And he was Chippewa, which he later told me that Chippewa is an English name. They call themselves the Inishiwa, okay? So I said, okay, kid, great, you know. I said, you got a driver's license? He said, yeah. I said, you mind driving? He said, no. I said, I've been driving for a long time. I'd like to have a couple beers, you know, and I want to drink and drive behind the wheel, right? So I pulled over, I got a six-pack, kid gets behind the wheel, and we're driving for like 6 hours to get to his grandfather's place on the reservation, right? In Minnesota, I think. Wisconsin, Minnesota, I'm pretty sure. The mosquitoes were this big, right? It was insane. Lakes everywhere. Giant mosquitoes. They were the size of hummingbirds, and that's no baloney. You know what I mean? This isn't Afghanistan. This is them making hashish in the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon. Nothing better on the planet than Lebanese hash. So anyways, so after 3 beers, you know, I was a little bit mellow. I wasn't drunk, obviously, after 3 beers in 6 hours or whatever, right, Todd?
Right.
So we get to the reservation. I get off the Route 2, and I bring him to, you know, and we get to his grandfather's place on the reservation, and I said, is it okay if I use the bathroom? You know, I had to whiz, right? And kid goes in, and he says, my grandfather says no. On there, pardon me? He says, yeah, my grandfather says no, he won't let any white people in the house. I says, okay. Okay then. I said, would it be okay if I whiz behind the bushes over here? He said, yeah, I don't think he'll call the cops on you or anything. All right then, great. It's been a great trip. Have a good life. You know what I mean?
You should have brought him back 8 hours and dropped him back off.
Yeah, I should have gone west and dropped him back off in friggin' Nebraska, wherever I picked him up. No, that would have been Montana? North Dakota. I don't know. Anyways, here we are. Expert recommendation and picks from bestsellers and more. This is to, this is to counter this inbred racism that we all have, and to, make us aware of our white privilege. You got to read White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. 2, How to Be an Anti-Racist. 3, Biased, Uncovering the Hidden Prejudice That Shapes What We See, Think, and Do. 4, Raising White Kids. 5, So You Want to Talk About Race. 6, The Black and the Blue, A Cop Reveals the Crime, Racism, and Injustice in America's Law Enforcement. Well, here's the thing with the cops, okay? And beating and shooting people. I don't know if I can get to it in here. I'll try. Here it is.
I was going to say, you got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. We could eliminate half of this racism. And I mentioned this to ex-Susanna Davis with the governor by just letting drug people out of jail. Drug dealers, I mean, that's where it's coming from, man. That's 90% of this stuff is from drugs. People are in jail for drugs. If you want to let them out, let them out. I mean, and legalize drugs. We could get rid of, look, people are going to do it anyways. It's like the prohibition of alcohol, okay? The only thing that happens when you legalize drugs is they're a lot cheaper. Because instead of sneaking around and getting a dealer to get your heroin, you could just go down to the drugstore and buy it, like they did 120 years ago. But oh no. Anyways, there's a whole lot. They can't kill us all. Ferguson, Baltimore, the new era in America's racial justice. Ain't I a Woman? Black Women and Feminism. Open Season, Legalized Genocide of Colored People. From Slavery to Freedom. The Third Reconstruction. Oh, and here's my favorite. Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration and the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. That's a good one because she shows that it's, it's the jails, man. It's the drugs. Even Nixon admitted that, man. They admitted it. Oh, and here we are. You ever heard of 8-ball eyes, Todd?
8-ball what?
8-ball eyes.
No.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, and here we are. Democrats kneel, then stand up for sweeping changes. And of course, being an article about Democrats, it's nothing but glowing praise. It is amazing the way the press treats the Democrats versus the Republicans. These geezers, they got out on it. They kneeled for, 8 minutes and so many seconds or whatever, Todd, right? And they're so old they couldn't get back up again. I'm telling you. I couldn't do it unless there was something. My feet are screwed up. Unless there was something for me to grab onto. And so Nancy Pelosi, she's out there. They all have these African scarves on. Her and Chuck Schumer and a bunch of other geezers. There's some woman behind her who's got on a short skirt, and she's trying to keep her private parts from showing, right? It was just hysterical, man. Oh, yeah, we sympathize with you. We're not going to do anything. You're not coming to my house and having any of my ice cream out of my $26,000 refrigerator. But, Oh, and here we are.
You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. Not only did Trump say he was going to stop the war, and the Taliban are ready for talks now that they've released the prisoners, he's going to end the Afghan war like he said he was. He kept us out of Syria, okay? But now he wants to pull out our troops from Germany. Why we still have troops in Germany 70-something years after World War II is beyond me. But listen to this. Germany's defense minister suggested that Trump's reported plans to take troops out of Germany could weaken the U.S. as well as the NATO alliance. Trump is said to have signed off. Excuse me, I got the COVID cough. Trump is said to have signed off on a plan to reduce troops from 34,000 to no more than 25,000. German Defense Minister Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer said Berlin hasn't been informed of any such move, but the fact that the presence of U.S. soldiers in Germany serves America's own security. Oh, we want you people to pay to protect us from, I don't know who, Russia or something. It's like, screw it, man. NATO is obsolete. Anyways, there's an article in here about cop de-escalation, and they talk about 8-ball eyes. Let's see. The policy cautions officers that medical assistance should be sought as soon as possible if they notice the subject is suffering from excited delirium, a state of agitation, intense paranoia or disorientation that can stem from a recent use of cocaine or amphetamines, or recent abrupt discontinuation of psych meds. Subjects in this state do not intend to hurt others in most cases, but may react violently to efforts to control their behavior. Police are encouraged to try and speak to family or bystanders. Look for potential indicators, including intense paranoia, extreme agitation, severe emotional swings, disorientation about time, place, and purpose, hallucinations, incoherent speech or screaming, grunting, guttural sounds, or agonal breathing, 8-ball eyes, whatever 8-ball eyes are, or shedding clothing due to elevated body temperature, profuse sweating, and destructive behavior. Oh my God. But other than that, policing is just a normal job, and most people think they're just garbage men with guns, it's all they do is take care of the garbage. Yeah, I think I saw the 8-ball eyes yesterday in the village. Damn it, I didn't hit the record button or something happened. Damn it, man. I missed that video. We had some nutbag who was just gone south. He claims the fire department attacked him. He doesn't like when everybody looks at him. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Go ahead and look. Go ahead and look. He's got half of the people in the village scared because he's going to freak out on them. The cops, the state police, God bless them, they're always dealing with this guy. I call him a frequent flyer. They're always down the road from me, trying to talk this guy off the edge of the cliff. And it's like, yeah, we need more people like that. They're really contributing to society. You know what I mean, Todd?
Hey, you've run out of time.
Well, once again,
you talk too much.
Wasted a perfectly good. Yeah, I did that today during the press conference. Once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show. Come on up, Mackie. Come on, up. And hopefully, we'll see you again next week, inshallah. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. And until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque. Pray to the pray east towards Mecca. And sniff the bum of the guy in the man dressed next to you and say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar. Oh, man.
It's got what it takes to make a